At the top of a mountain in Rio de Janeiro, arms outstretched over one of the most vibrant cities on earth, stands a figure that has become one of the most recognized images in human history. Christ the Redeemer, 30 meters tall, arms spanning 28 meters, sitting at the peak of Corcovado Mountain, 700 meters above sea level, looking out over Rio de Janeiro, over the harbor, over Guanabara Bay, over the Atlantic Ocean beyond. Every year, millions of people make the journey to stand at its feet, and almost all of them, looking up at that enormous outstretched figure, wonder the same thing. How? How was it built? How was it transported up a mountain covered in Atlantic forest? How do you construct something this large, this precise, this enduring on a rocky summit, exposed to lightning strikes, tropical storms, and the salt air of the South Atlantic? And what is actually inside it? Tonight we answer those questions, because the story of how Christ the Redeemer was built is as extraordinary as the statue itself. And what is hidden inside those outstretched arms is something most visitors never suspect is there. The idea of a great statue on Corcovado Mountain is older than most people realize. As early as 1859, a Catholic priest named Pedro Maria Bos first suggested placing a Christian monument on the peak. The idea went nowhere. Brazil at that time was still a monarchy under Emperor Pedro II, and the proposal never advanced beyond a suggestion. The idea resurfaced in the 1920s. Brazil had become a republic. The country was changing rapidly, industrializing, urbanizing, finding its modern identity. And a group of Catholic organizations in Rio de Janeiro proposed that a monument be built on Corcovado to mark the centenary of Brazilian independence in 1922. This time, the idea had momentum. The Catholic community launched a fundraising campaign. Donations came from across Brazil and from Brazilian communities abroad. The project was approved, and the search began for a design. Several designs were submitted for the Christ the Redeemer competition. One depicted Christ holding a globe. Another showed Christ with a cross. The design that was ultimately selected, the figure with arms outstretched, embodying both welcome and sacrifice, was created by Brazilian engineer Heitor da Silva Costa. The sculptor chosen to realize this design in 3 dimensions was the French-Polish artist Paul Landowski, who worked on the statue's head and hands in his Paris studio while the rest of the structure was engineered in Brazil. Heitor da Silva Costa faced a problem that no engineer had previously solved. How do you build a statue of this size on the peak of a mountain covered in dense Atlantic rainforest, accessible only by a narrow rack railway, exposed to constant wind and lightning, and subject to the corrosive effects of tropical humidity and salt air? The answer he arrived at was radical. He would not build it from stone. He would build it from reinforced concrete, a relatively new material at the time, faced with thousands of individually shaped pieces of soapstone tile, lightweight enough to be carried up the mountain, durable enough to last centuries, and flexible enough, crucially, to be assembled piece by piece on a summit where no heavy machinery could reach. The design was chosen. The engineer had his solution. Now the real challenge began: getting the materials up a mountain, assembling them in conditions that would defeat almost any modern construction project, and hiding inside the structure something that most visitors never see and never know exists. Construction of Christ the Redeemer began in 1922 and was completed in 1931. 9 years. For 9 years, workers climbed Corcovado Mountain every day, carrying materials, mixing concrete, shaping soapstone tiles, assembling the internal steel framework that would hold the entire structure together. The rack railway that runs up Corcovado, built in 1884 and still operating today, was the primary means of transporting materials up the mountain, but the railway only went so far. The final approach to the summit required materials to be carried by hand through dense Atlantic forest on narrow paths. Think about what that means. Every bag of cement, every steel rod, every individually shaped soapstone tile carried up a mountain by hand for 9 years. The statue's exterior is covered in approximately 6 million individual pieces of soapstone, a soft, workable stone chosen specifically for its durability in tropical conditions and its ability to be shaped into the curved surfaces required for the figure's robes and facial features. The soapstone was quarried in the state of Minas Gerais in Brazil and cut into small, triangular and trapezoidal tiles that were then fitted together on the statue's surface, like a three-dimensional mosaic. The head alone, sculpted by Paul Landowski in Paris and shipped to Brazil in sections, required extraordinarily precise assembly on the mountain summit. The internal structure of the statue is reinforced concrete, built around a steel framework. But it is not solid. Inside Christ the Redeemer, there are rooms, small chambers within the statue's base and pedestal that have been used for various purposes over the decades. A chapel dedicated to Our Lady of Aparecida, the patron saint of Brazil, sits inside the statue's base and can hold up to 150 people. Religious ceremonies, including baptisms and weddings, have been performed inside the statue. There are also staircases, elevators, maintenance access corridors running through the interior of the statue's structure that allow workers to reach every part of the exterior for repairs and restoration. And in the arms, those famous outstretched arms, there are passages, narrow maintenance corridors running the full length of each arm, allowing workers to reach the fingertips of Christ the Redeemer from the inside. The outstretched arms of one of the world's most recognized monuments are hollow, and people walk inside them. The construction is extraordinary. The hidden interior is remarkable. But Christ the Redeemer has faced something that its builders in 1931 could not have fully anticipated. Nearly a century of lightning strikes, tropical storms, and the relentless Brazilian weather have tested the statue in ways that required constant attention and remarkable restoration work. Corcovado Mountain is one of the most lightning-prone locations in the entire city of Rio de Janeiro. Christ the Redeemer has been struck by lightning hundreds of times since its inauguration in 1931. The statue sits 700 meters above sea level on an exposed granite peak in a tropical city known for violent summer thunderstorms. It is, effectively, the tallest object for a considerable distance in every direction. During a storm over Rio de Janeiro, lightning does not decide whether to strike Christ the Redeemer. It simply does. The statue has been damaged repeatedly. Fingers have been broken off by lightning strikes. The head has been struck. The arms have been damaged. Each time, restoration teams have climbed the mountain, assessed the damage, and repaired it, replacing soapstone tiles, reinforcing the internal structure, installing better lightning protection systems. A major restoration of Christ the Redeemer was completed in 2010 to mark the approach of the statue's 80th anniversary. The restoration replaced approximately 30% of the exterior soapstone tiles, repaired damage to the fingers and internal structure caused by decades of lightning strikes and weather erosion, and installed an improved lightning protection system consisting of a network of copper rods and cables running through the statue's structure, designed to safely conduct lightning strikes into the ground without damaging the exterior. The restoration cost approximately 4 million Brazilian reais and took several years of planning and execution. The 2010 restoration also revealed something that surprised the restoration team. Generations of visitors had carved their names into the soapstone tiles of the statue's interior and lower exterior surfaces, a record of pilgrimage written directly into the body of the monument. Names, dates, messages in Portuguese, Spanish, English, and dozens of other languages, scratched into the stone by people who had stood at the feet of Christ the Redeemer and wanted to leave some trace that they had been there. The restoration team cleaned and repaired these surfaces, but the impulse that drove people to carve their names, the need to say, "I was here, I stood at this place, I was part of this," is as old as human civilization itself. It is the same impulse that built the statue in the first place. The statue has survived nearly a century of lightning, storms, and the relentless tropical climate. But its story is not only a story of engineering and endurance, it is a story of what a monument means to the people who built it, the city it watches over, and the millions who travel from around the world to stand in its shadow. Christ the Redeemer was inaugurated on October 12th, 1931. On that day, the plan was for the lights illuminating the statue to be switched on by a radio signal sent from Rome by Guglielmo Marconi, the inventor of radio. The signal failed due to atmospheric interference. A technician on the mountain switched the lights on manually. Even at its inauguration, the monument had to adapt, had to find another way, had to be fixed by human hands when the grand plan fell short. This feels appropriate, because Christ the Redeemer is not a perfect object. It has been broken by lightning and repaired. Its soapstone has cracked and been replaced. Its interior has been modified and updated. It has been climbed, cleaned, restored, and reclaimed by generations of workers who have spent their careers keeping it standing. It is a human achievement, flawed, enduring, and extraordinary in the way that only human achievements can be. 9 years to build, almost a century of standing. Inside those hollow arms, narrow maintenance corridors running to the fingertips. Inside the base, a chapel where people have been baptized and married. Inside the stone, the names of everyone who ever felt the need to say they were there. The arms of Christ the Redeemer are outstretched over Rio de Janeiro. They have been outstretched for nearly a century. And inside them, quietly, invisibly, the people who built them, repaired them, and loved them are still present. Some buildings are just buildings, and some are something else entirely.